Alright everybody, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys every limited car that came out in the year 2022 in Vehicle Legends. Now if you guys already didn't know, around 4-ish days ago I made a video about the cars that came out in the year 2021 that were limited, so make sure to go check that out, but obviously after this one. Now before I get started, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so for number 1, this is the first limited that came out in 2022. It's the Lamborghini Gallardo fake model. Now this thing actually came out like January 5th or something, so it was really early in the year. First limited, as I said, that came in that year. Looks pretty ugly, I think, but like, yeah, I mean, interior is decent, I guess. This was a fake model. This is one day, like, obviously had the fake models in the game, so it's a pretty old model and it has aged well in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite limiteds that came out at that time, obviously. Now this one came around a little bit later. This is like a couple months after the C8 convertible. Now this thing actually got changed to a real model again, because when it first came out it was like really fake and ugly, and then they changed it again to make it slightly more realistic, but it was still fake. And then fast forward a year later, they made it into this thing, and I've got to say, this looks pretty realistic. This thing looks pretty realistic and it looks pretty cool. I also do really like this car. Now before you do get mad at me, this was technically a limited time car, even though it was in the event, like egg hunt event from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, so it's pretty old. Obviously the model is fake, but it's pretty close to the real model, so it's not too bad. Interior is decent. This is just one of those cars, I guess. And then this car, this is the one that this was the top prize that you could get. This was also like a really ugly fake model back then, and then they obviously remastered it to look like this. Looks way better now, obviously. But maybe the one thing I'm actually scared about is if they end up licensing McLaren, this car will come back, and that will be pretty sad, because if you guys didn't know, the De Tomaso Pantera also came back, and it was limited from like 2 years ago, so it was a pretty old limited. Came back, probably quite a bit of people got mad, so hopefully it doesn't happen to this car, but we'll see. Next up is the Jumper X. This went off sale slightly after the egg hunt, I'm pretty sure. Now it's just a plane, it's nothing crazy. I've reviewed this a bunch, so we're just gonna go on to the next car. Next up is actually a Lamborghini. This is the Lamborghini Urus. Now this thing went off sale when all the Lamborghinis got removed, but unlike the other ones that just got put off sale randomly, this car and another Lamborghini I'll show later, so stick around. Now back to this one. This one came out early 2022 as a ugly model. Then a couple months later it got changed into this, which is still fake, but it's pretty close to that. Now I've got to say, it's still kind of ugly, but it's pretty close to the real model, I'm not gonna lie. They've done a pretty good job on this, I have to say. It's pretty good. Now if you guys actually stuck around, this is the other Lamborghini. This is a 2020 model, so it's pretty old. So this is like one of the oldest models. It looks pretty weird, but I really do like it. This is like actually SC18, that's what it's actually called. Pretty cool car. This actually has opening doors now. It didn't have it before, so if you like obviously do that, opening doors and stuff, pretty cool. And yeah, that's all I have to say for this car. Now a little bit after that whole Lamborghini thing, they came out with the October egg hunt, or sorry, Halloween event. That was the first Halloween event that they've ever done, and this was the first prize that you got. This is the McLaren GT. The specs kind of weird, because back then I made all of my specs like wraps and stuff. I never bothered to change it, because like, what's the point? This is like when this is the exact time when they started bringing out realistic cars. This is like one of the first ones. So as you can see, it's not the best quality, but it's not bad either. Exterior, as I said before, it's realistic. Pretty cool car. Now this was the top prize that you got, the Aston Martin Victor. Just like the other one, didn't really change the spec on this all that much. Interior looks pretty bad quality considering when it came out, but it's still not too bad. So if I were Foninian, I would maybe consider giving this one a remodel, but I guess we'll just have to wait and time will tell. and maybe they'll get Aston Martin licensing and this all will end up coming back, but again, that will make people mad, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Next up is the Pagani Zonda Cinque. Why did I crash here? Probably one of my favorite ones. This is like one of my favorite looking Paganis. It's a really good looking car. This thing came out in like November, I think, so it's a pretty old car, probably one of the oldest realistic limiteds. This is like on the verge of like 2023, so this is like really late 2022, but there's a car after this that came like at the last month, I want to say, so that will come up right now. And the car that came out in December of 2022 is this car. This is the, what is this, the AMG Project 1. Pretty good car. Interior is really good job how they designed this one. The spec though, I don't really know how I feel about it. I'm gonna actually change that. Red looks way better in my opinion. I really did not like that yellow. But yeah, this is a pretty cool looking car, because actually if you press Z or whatever, it goes up the wing and like these little front splitters. So that's extra touch. That looks pretty cool. Alright, so those were everything that came out in 2022. If this video gets 35 likes, I'm gonna do every card that came out in 2023 as limited, so that's gonna be a pretty tough one to make. So if you really want me to make that, like and subscribe, and also join the Discord server for latest updates. And yeah, have a nice day.